everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. We're spending some time with Archie Chaisson, of course, the parish president of Lafourche Parish. Hey, Archie, thanks so much for joining us again. And I guess before we do anything, we need to get, the world stopped on August 29th for us around here. So give us an update on recovery and what's going on down in Lafourche.
Yeah, thanks for having us again, Harry. Things are slowly. I mean, we say this all the time, right? It's baby steps every day when we come to debris pickup and housing and everything else we're doing. And I'm looking down at my notes. We got right over 1 million cubic yards of debris picked up, both vegetative and construction debris. Still probably have somewhere about 300,000 yards left on the ground that we're going to try to hopefully get up before Christmas, and then slowly work into some of that private property debris removal stuff going in the trailer parks and the private streets and places that we hadn't got to yet because we were focused on those surface streets. And that 1 million cubic yard number does not include what DOTD has picked up along state routes, Highway 1, 308, 32, 35. The housing front continues to progress very slowly. We have about 540 state units on the ground, about 350 of those licensed in. People actually living in them. We're getting a little bit better. FEMA has made a push in the last couple of days. I think we're about 70 FEMA units that are licensed in, with almost 200 of them on the ground. So we're slowly making some progress there, but still a long way to go as we go into the holidays. We're still processing, I think, somewhere between 150 and 200 building permits a day, which proves that the resilient people have, and I'm sure President Dove will tell you the same thing in Terrebonne, that people are rebuilding. Their insurance companies have finally started to get their adjusting reports in and do some payouts. People have gutted their homes, and we saw that by the way the debris piles have stacked up around Thanksgiving and shortly thereafter. But people are starting to rebuild. They're starting to put their lives back together. We're going to lose some people. We know we will. Some people have moved out, had their kids in school already in a different parish to get some sort of normalcy. They're trying to figure out if they're coming back or not. So we know we're going to lose some part of the population, but I think overall we're doing really well and way ahead of where I think anybody thought we'd be 100 or so days out from the storm.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And these storms do provide some kind of economic boost for areas too. Obviously, nobody wants to go through what we all went through and do that kind of stuff. But for our government, I guess, to have that economic activity is always good. We are seeing a lot of that stuff. And the benefits, you also are welcoming people back home, right? So you guys had a nice little program, Welcome Home Lafourche, and it went pretty well, huh?
Yeah, and the tax piece, Harry, is hard for us, right? We never want to overburden our citizens while we're talking about rebuilding, but because of all the construction activity, all the guys doing roofs and buying building materials and sheetrock and plywood, we have seen a rise in sales tax. We're going to see a small decrease in the ad valorem side as property values get depreciated because of the storm. But overall, those types of things are going to help us. And you hate to have a storm to have that happen. But there is some good that comes out that's going to let us rebuild a little bit quicker because of those tax dollars. But huge event this weekend on Sunday in coordination with the district attorney's office, Ms. Christine Russell, and Sheriff Craig Weber's office over the sheriff's office. We got together about a month ago and realized that mental health was a huge part of after the storm, right? You double what happened because of Ida on top of COVID and everything else that we've dealt with over the last 24 months. The community really needed something. So we have great mental health staffers on our staff here in parish government and also at the DA's office and the sheriff's office. So we said, look, we want to put together a community event where we can do something. So they kind of took it and ran with it. And the first one, the inaugural kind of event for that was this Welcome Home Lafourche event. It's going to be a series. They've dubbed it Let's Talk Lafourche, and it's okay to talk about how you're feeling, what's going on, and that you may not be normal because of the storm and COVID and everything else. And that's okay to let people know that it's okay to start having those conversations. So, we had a whole variety of people from the South Louisiana Human Services Authority to, people doing COVID vaccines to people dealing with kids and their mental health issues. All of our mental health staff was there. A huge thank you to everybody who donated toys for the event. We had Santa there who was handing out gifts to every girl and boy who came through to take pictures with him. But a huge thank you to Ms. Gail Benson and the Gail Benson Foundation. They donated $40,000 worth of toys to this event, and it was huge. I mean, that made a big difference to a lot of families and some kids who this would be the only Christmas that they were going to have. So to have that level of generosity come from Ms. Benson and that foundation was a huge influx. And the Benson organization has been great throughout the storm with the Saints and Pelicans and sending stuff down for the relief effort in the very beginning. But this was just another huge way. We had well over 3,000 people come through the event. It was a line from the time it started at 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock when they finally shut it down, and kind of worked worked everybody else out the building. But it was great to see the community come together. It was great to see the smiles on the kids' faces when they got to see Santa. And I think you've seen a lot of pictures from the officials who were involved in that event. Just the smiles on their faces were very heartwarming. And if that did make you kind of feel a little tingle inside and your heart grow, as big of a Grinch as I am around Christmas time, it was a huge event. It was great to see the community come together.
That's because you got those kids, you got to buy all those presents, and talk to Santa and do all that. Hey, mental health is a big issue, and I'm glad you said that. I mean, I know my kids had 9/11. That's kind of what they had to go through and kind of get over, and the fear of all that kind of stuff. But when you throw COVID on top of a storm like that, you could see where people might get germ phobic, people are scared to leave their house, that kind of stuff. I guess it's something we don't talk enough about is mental health from these two things we've been through.
Yeah, we definitely don't. And I think that was one of the cusp is that, the sheriff had seen it in a number of his calls for services. Christine was seeing it in cases that were coming through the DA's office. We were seeing it on our end with our kiddos and the Head Start program and just our employees. These guys, right. Some of our employees lost their homes, but they were just like every first responder, whether it was fire, EMS, all the public agencies. These guys were still working day-to-day 14, 15, 16 hours a day trying to help the parish recover and not worry about their stuff. So it's touched everybody.
It has for sure, and it's been a wild time. And look, and these coming home things, welcoming home. The more we can get together, the more these things can help. We trying to get back to where we used to be, right?
No doubt. We'll get there sooner or later.
Yeah, Arch, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it, man.
Good to see you, Harry.
Yeah, you're right. We'll see you next time. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Bayou Time. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be right back with more Bayou Time.